Namaskar and welcome to another episode of Editorial. Today, let's discuss what Rahul Gandhi said. Rahul Gandhi said that, you see, middle class is moving out of Bharatiya Janata Party. Acha, today's Hindu, there's an article which also says the same, that middle class is upset with Bharatiya Janata Party and the budget and are moving away. Let's first discuss about whether middle class is moving away from Bharatiya Janata Party, and most importantly, let us discuss whether middle class is being made the scapegoat for political gains in India. That's the topic tonight. Let's get right into the show. 31% of we Indians, we are middle class. 31% of us, which technically makes us the dominant population, the majority population in this country. Now, what normally happens is that political parties tend to ignore the middle class. A lot of political parties will go and try and appease the poor class. Appease the poor class, not alleviate them, not try to genuinely alleviate them, get them out of the poverty. That a very few people have done. But majority of politicians would try to appease the poor class. Why? Because appeasing the poor class means that A, there is a consolidated vote bank that they get, and B, it shows as a progress card. They show it as a progress card. I give free rations to people who are poor. That's a progress card. Fantastic PR point. A vote-winning strategy. So the poor is treated that way. The rich is anyway treated well. Why? Because it's the rich that finally funds the political party. Remember electoral bonds, no? So it is the rich that funds the political party. You know who's in the middle? Middle is the majority. That is the middle class. Koi nahi poochta. I've been talking to you about this for almost years now. So therefore, a lot of us try and talk about the middle class because nobody talks about us. We don't get loans, and if we get loans, we miss one EMI. I've been talking about this. 1,000 people would come, pick you up, humiliate you, take your vehicle, take your house, so on and so forth. But a rich, he can get away with haircuts. We've spoken about this, so I'm not going to repeat myself. So somewhere down the line, the middle class is not seen favorably by the political class, or there's no impetus given to the middle class. Point number one. Point number two. Now, currently, this budget has, like most of the other budgets, which is what I am surprised, because most of the budgets have never favored the middle class. This budget also doesn't favor the middle class. So like this, most of the other budgets, like I said, even this budget is not favoring the middle class, and a lot of opposition party members, including Rahul Gandhi, has gone out and said that, listen, bhaiya, your party, BJP, your middle class is leaving you. Okay? That also is correct. Indexation, for instance. Indexation will harm the middle class more than the upper class. Are bhaiya, it is not always that you sell your property because you are kept it for investments. A lot of people who retire because we don't have good retirement facilities, a lot of people who are in distress sell their big houses and go to smaller houses so that they can get the money, pay their loans, EMIs, whatever they have to pay, and try and live. A lot of middle class does that. I don't think the government realizes it. The real problem nobody realizes, because it is to assume that every property, every piece of gold is bought in as investment and sold to make profits is ridiculous. A lot of us buy a house to live. We sell it because we can move into a smaller house, and the extra money we can help survive. A lot of us do that, especially the middle class. Indexation has ruined that entire situation. Earlier on, when you buy 100, indexation is the process of adjusting the original purchase price of an asset or investment in order to neutralize the impact of inflation on it, which means that if I buy a house for 100 rupees and after 10 years, the indexation helps me to fight the inflation, the reduced value of money, and the price for that particular house may be fixed at 250 rupees by the government. So if I sell that house for 300 rupees, then I have to only pay for 50 rupees. I have to only pay long-term capital gain tax for 50 rupees. And that time I had to pay 20% of long-term capital gain tax. And the fact remains that I have to only pay for that 50 rupees. I don't have to pay for the full 200 rupees. I have to just pay for that extra 50 rupees. That is beyond the price which the government has fixed. But now it is not like that. Like I told you, you have to pay. If you bought your house for 100 rupees 30 years back, 20 years back, and if you are selling it for 300 rupees, you have to pay capital gain tax, which is reduced from 20% to 12.5%, but you have to pay for the entire 200 rupees. 100 rupees which you paid, that is minused. That is offsetted. So finally, while they say that no, it's only big people that will get in trouble. No, big people, it doesn't matter. It is the small people who get into trouble. It is people who are hoping that gold which they have got or that house they have can help them to fend themselves at one point in time when things are not looking good, very often nowadays. That's point number one. Point number two, let me ask you another question. Is only the Bharatiya Janata Party that's ignoring the middle class? Or even a Congress, even an AAP has been ignoring middle class? Let me give you an example. You see, Bharatiya Janata Party, the way they have tried to appease the poorest is by giving free ration. I have constantly questioned, I have constantly in your channel asked, how does it help a person? How does it help a family if you just give free ration? You just allow them to live. You ensure that they live. They get meal, 2 square or no, I don't, but they get to eat something and they survive. Is that how you want your population to be? Alleviation of poverty needs investment. Alleviation of poverty needs to help these people earn money so that they can live and they can buy their food. That's what alleviation of poverty is, which was never practiced. No such policies were brought in. That's number one. But then, is it limited to Bharatiya Janata Party like my question was? You see, let me give you some figures. The state, that is the state of Karnataka, has spent heavily on the guarantees that Congress gave during the elections. Now, the government allocated capital expenditure for Karnataka was mere 55,877. And you know what is the money they spend on these schemes, various freebies? The money they spend was 52,000. So capital expenditure 55,000 and money is for freebie 52,000. Same is the case with DMK in Tamil Nadu. Same is the case with DMK in Tamil Nadu. Same is the case with Delhi. Now, the High Court today slammed the Delhi government, saying that, listen, people are dying. You have no infrastructure to control your floods. The High Court said, you civic authorities are bankrupt. If you don't have money to pay salaries, how will you upgrade infrastructure? Your freebie culture. You have not collecting any money, so you are not spending any money. This is what freebie does. Let me talk about Madhya Pradesh. Meri Ladli Behna. The Bharatiya Janata Party mayor in Madhya Pradesh had said that, listen, because of the Meri Pyari Behna scheme, we are not able to pay salaries. The corporation is not able to pay salaries. And very shortly, the Maharashtra government actually has already launched the same scheme in Maharashtra. They are hoping to cater to some 2 crore 50 odd lakh women. You see, I am not against welfare policies, welfare schemes. What I am against is the sheer fact that you are paying 1,000 rupees in Tamil Nadu, for instance, and Maharashtra proposes to pay 1,500 rupees to a woman per month. How is it going to help that woman? Is that actually going to help that woman alleviate from poverty? Is that going to substitute that woman's need for a job, for a vocation? Is that going to help that woman's family to have 2 square meals? What is that 1,500 actually going to do except for make her feel good about a particular party or a particular politician? What is that exactly going to do? Think about it. Now, what really happens also is, who is this politician giving this money from? This politician is drawing this money out of the treasury. This money that should have gone for infrastructure. This money that should have gone for healthcare. This money that should have gone for education. And this money that should have gone to attract trade, business in the particular state, that money is being given as freebies. Now, pray tell me, where do you think this money comes from? Where do you think this money comes from? Bulk of this money gets taxed from the middle class. You see, let us forget about the direct tax where people said 2% only come. Let's forget about that. Let's talk about taxes which every Indian pays, including you and me. Every Indian pays taxes. Some of us pay direct tax, some of us don't. But every Indian pays taxes. And that's your GST. And what is going to happen is, you are going to be collecting more taxes from common Indian. And bulk of it, who ends up paying? The middle class. The middle class. Bulk of it, who suffers? The middle class. Because the rich is so much funded. And the money is all over the place, all over the world. So, he doesn't really care. So, who finally cares? Middle class. So, you draw money out of the middle class, you take privileges out of the middle class, you reduce the middle class and get him or her down to the poor class, and you dole out freebies to get votes. This is the status, and this is what I wanted to talk. So, when one says that, Bharatiya Janata Party, middle class is moving out of Bharatiya Janata Party, a lot of voters are moving out of Bharatiya Janata Party. Why only middle class? A lot of voters are moving out of Bharatiya Janata Party. Middle class also. But what I want to warn through this editorial is, you see, let us understand this very clearly, that communalism was bad for this country because it was dividing this country. Casteism is bad for this country because it will divide the country again. Hinduism again. But you know what is worse? Worse are these freebies. Because this will destroy the country. This will destroy the economy. You know what is the worst part of this? The worst part of this is, to combat communalism, you had a group of parties that spoke secularism. So there was an opposition. But to combat freebies, there is nobody. Every political party seems to be in the freebie race. Every political party. Like I said, now Maharashtra elections, and Maharashtra is announcing the Ladli Bahin, Maji Ladki Bahin scheme, which is Ladli Behna on other form, with more impetus, more money, and 3 cylinders, gas cylinders, free of cost. Because the chances of Bharatiya Janata Party and the Shiva Sena Eknath Shinde winning in Maharashtra seems to be quite kind of difficult at the moment. So, freebies. Now, think about this for a minute. Think about how dangerous it could be for our country, how dangerous it could be for our economy, and how dangerous it could be for middle class, which is actually the backbone of this country. Think about it. Write down your comments below. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10 p.m. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.